Tonight, 3 US Marines killed as a military aircraft goes down off the coast of Darwin. The major operation underway to save more lives. Why China's slowing economy could be good news for mortgage holders. A faces court and a family speaks, paying tribute to 2 little boys killed in a Sydney crash. And bushfire warning signs turn high-tech across New South Wales in a bid to save lives.
This is NBN News.
But first, the Knights cemented their spot in the top 5, treating fans a thrilling win over the Sharks in Newcastle. Howard joins us live from McDonald Jones Stadium. Jack, what a win, and it was a record-equalling victory for one player in particular.
That's right, Jane. John Young has just equalled the club's record for the most tries in a single season, scoring his 21st for the season. He scored that in front of 29,000 fans here at McDonald Jones Stadium. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of sore heads at work tomorrow because Knights fans, well, they have plenty to celebrate. The win here not only does it secure their place in the finals, but now they're just a game away from bringing finals footy back to Newcastle for the first time since 2006. They'll play the Dragons. They'll play them in Cobra on Saturday, Jane. A win there would secure their place in the finals. But what an amazing victory here tonight, and we'll have all of the recaps and highlights later in the video.
Certainly a great result, Jack, and all on Old Boys Day. To other news now, and 3 US Marines have been killed after an American military aircraft crashed in the Tiwi Islands off the coast of Darwin. As we go to where a rescue and recovery operation is underway, some of the 23 crew on board the Osprey are still stranded on Melville Island.
A rescue chopper sweeps into Royal Darwin Hospital. On board an injured US crew member from an Osprey aircraft that crashed offshore on Melville Island. He's one of 5 service personnel who were critically injured. 3 Marines were killed in the crash. This was the moment Australian air controllers were first told the Osprey, call sign dump truck, had gone down.
We are just declaring an emergency on behalf of dump truck 11 flight, single MV-22 in the vicinity of Melville Island.
Touch type 33, search and rescue is requesting if there's fire.
Hey, firm, there is a significant fire in the vicinity of the crash site. Looks like it is not spreading.
23 Marines were on board.
The initial reports suggest that the incident involves just US Defence Force personnel, that there are no members of the Australian Defence Force involved in this incident.
The crashed aircraft was taking part in war games with Australian, Filipino, Timorese and Indonesian troops. Exercise Predators Run. The Osprey is a tilt-rotor aircraft. It takes off like a chopper, then the engines tilt forward, enabling it to fly at much faster speeds than a helicopter. Keith Tonkin flew for the RAAF for 15 years.
It's operated all around the world in all sorts of different environments, much more difficult than where it was just north of Darwin today.
The Osprey doesn't have a good reputation. Since it started flying 33 years ago, 51 service members have been killed. However, it actually has a lower mishap rate compared to many other aircraft flown by the US military. This was the moment an Osprey crashed off Rockhampton in 2017. It was during the Talisman Sabre military exercise. 26 were on board as the Osprey clipped the deck of a US ship. 3 Marines were killed. And only last month, 4 Australian Defence personnel were killed when their Taipan helicopter crashed off the Whitsundays during this year's Talisman Sabre. In today's crash, 18 crew members were treated at the scene, but 3 could not be saved. A number of choppers flew the 5 other more seriously injured to Darwin Hospital. Mark Burrows, NBN News.
And Georgie Dickerson filed this report from Royal Darwin Hospital a short time ago.
One of the Marines who was transported here to Royal Darwin Hospital has suffered critical injuries and is currently undergoing surgery. 4 other personnel are still in hospital. We are awaiting an update on their conditions. A code brown was also issued for the hospital to cope with the number of passengers that will be sent to the area. All of the remaining injured crew on board this flight will be triaged at the scene. Care Flight, Royal Flying Doctor Service, the National Critical Care and Response Centre, as well as extra police and emergency services, are coordinating this response. We are expecting to hear more information from the Northern Territory Government tomorrow morning.
The financial slowdown in China is bringing good news for mortgage holders here, with another rate rise now less likely. As our household budgets strain, this latest blow to the national accounts is prompting a potential rethink of the way Australia does business.
Climbing aboard a train with no driver, the Prime Minister and a load of West Australian iron ore that never seems to end.
From there, the whole line's 450 kilometres that way, fully autonomous.
Red dirt that's turned to gold for Australia's economy.
Thanks for what you do, mate.
No worries.
The biggest buyer has long been China, but there's bad news out of Beijing, with the economy now at a crawl.
The two biggest challenges, I think, to that growth outlook are what's happening in China is a big part of that story, but also the lag impact of all of those interest rate rises.
New data this week will likely show another slowdown in retail trade, which should combine with our economy's slowdown to reduce the chances of another rate rise.
Whether it's your mortgage, whether it's your power bill or your food bill, unfortunately Australians have got rid of their discretionary spend, but it's their fixed expenditure that keeps on coming at them.
This week's intergenerational report pointing to the long-term need for long-term change, in particular around tax.
Young people have high HEX debts. They're going to have to pay for climate change. They're going to have to pay for extremely high costs of housing, and then we're going to rely on them more and more and more to carry everybody else.
But major tax reform has become a third rail of Australian politics, and the cost of living struggles make the prospects even less likely.
We've seen taxes on superannuation. We've seen a change to the heavy vehicle road user charge, which goes straight into your grocery bills.
We are capable as a country of dealing with the here and now, these cost of living pressures, which are the government's #1 priority. At the same time as we work out how do we build something that we can be really proud of.
With no major modifications, at least in this term. Charles Croucher, NBN News.
Lake Macquarie residents could be heading back to the polls, with councillors to vote tomorrow on whether to hold a by-election following the resignation of Luke Cubis. They'll decide to either push ahead with the election at an estimated cost of around $500,000 or apply to Minister for Local Government Ron Honig to skip it. Councillor Cubis stood down due to personal circumstances in July. By the end of next week, the Minns government will have reinstalled shark nets at a handful of Hunter and Central Coast beaches. But the program, which comes in the wake of a serious attack on the mid-north coast, has some locals up in arms.
Locals are getting vocal.
What do we want? Hands up now!
Come Friday, the Minns government will have reinstalled shark nets at 11 Central Coast beaches, and it's got some up in arms.
We were really hopeful this year that they weren't going to put them out because there's copious amounts of evidence that prove that they don't actually protect swimmers, and all they're doing is culling our marine life.
The push to axe the shark nets program comes just days after a man was attacked by a great white at Port Macquarie. He remains in a serious but stable condition at John Hunter Hospital.
We're putting in these measures that are wiping out species because of the chance maybe someone might get bitten someday, some year.
Data from the Department of Primary Industries has revealed just 24 target shark species were caught across the state last season, compared to 204 non-target species. And of the 228 marine animals caught, more than 55% were off the Central Coast.
DPI's own report, it showed that shark nets were a failure. It showed the incredible success of the drone smart drumline listening station technology. There is no argument on that.
Last season was the first time smart drumlines were deployed alongside shark nets, listening stations and drones. The government says continuing with the same suite of measures will help inform decisions and possible changes for future seasons. Minister for the Central Coast, David Harris, says the government is listening to expert advice and needs more time to evaluate other technologies. Montana Clare, NBN News.
An increase in vandalism and theft has forced yet another Newcastle sporting club to take action in a bid to stop further attacks. The incidents have become so regular, volunteers are now convinced they're being watched by the culprits.
7 years ago, Darren, Cheryl and Mark stood on the shores of Throsby Creek with a plan.
We thought it'd be a good venue, good place to start, and we just created the club from there.
Offering kayaking, canoeing and stand-up paddleboarding, Newey Paddlers now has around 100 members. It's trained national champions and will soon play host to the deciding leg of the New South Wales Harbour Series.
Paddle New South Wales actually approached us and said, would you like to do the last race of the series this year? Which is really an honour for Newcastle and our club.
But it seems not everyone is on board.
I feel like somebody's watching and, yeah, which isn't good.
In recent months, the club has become a target for vandals and thieves. Its containers repeatedly spray painted, its trailer constantly stripped.
Not just the tyres and the wheels stolen, we've actually had the connectors taken, I think, 3 times.
Volunteers fear the people behind it are keeping tabs on their every movement.
Fitted the tyres on the Friday. On the Saturday, I got a photo from one of our members saying the wheels are gone again, which meant it happened Friday night.
The constant attacks have left the club with no choice but to move its equipment elsewhere.
The volunteers actually have to go and clean it and then raise the money to fix it, and it all comes out of the community in the end.
Newey Paddlers will forge ahead on the water, hosting 120 competitors in the Harbour Series on September 24. Jack Howard, NBN News.
Maitland's well-known Jocko Graves statue could soon be heritage listed, with council voting to spend $20,000 to determine if it meets the criteria. The plan narrowly got over the line during a meeting, with councillors voting 7-6 in favour of the assessment. The statue has stood since 1886. Jocko Graves is the son of a freed African slave who fought in the American Revolutionary War of the 18th century. Plenty of people were drumming to the same beat in Newcastle today as part of rehearsals for the city's new annual festival, which begins next month. Among the acts, Noise, which is touted as a celebration of sound, rhythm and dance, with around 100 people expected to take part.
It brings everyone together in that massive community spirit because music is an international language.
Noise will take to the stage on September 29 and 30. Looking at the weather across the Hunter today, a sensational Sunday. A top of 23 degrees at Scone, 4 to 22 the range at Maitland today, 11 to 20 at Nelson Bay, 11 to 18 the range at Nobbies, and a top of 20 at Coorambong. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, tributes grow for 2 young boys killed in a horrific car crash in Sydney. Lost baggage, the new travel tool that will put your mind at ease when you fly. And later, the young North Coast sprinter turning heads purely with raw talent.
You asked for more, and Domino's has delivered with more generous pizzas like the lot. At 15 toppings, it's our most loaded pizza ever.
Simparica Trio makes protecting your furry family against fleas and ticks, intestinal worms, and deadly heartworm easy. Simparica Trio, protection for dogs, trusted by dog people.
Movement that inspires.
My property portfolio is protected by Terry Shear. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
As a first-time investor, Terry Shear provides the security I need.
With Terry Shear, we're more comfortable about our investment property.
Landlord insurance for just $1.50 or less per day. Get a quote, call Terry Shear or go online.
Bonnie, what's the longest lasting flea and paralysis tick protection?
Perfecto. Awesome. Convenient.
And what do you think, Boots?
Perfecto. Easy. Love you.
Ask your vet or pet store for longest lasting
Perfecto.
Planning a funeral can be complicated and expensive, but it doesn't have to be. With 3 affordable packages, we make funeral planning the way it should be. Affordable, simple.
Live your dream life on the water with Sailtime Port Stephens. All the benefits of owning your own luxury vessel without all the expenses and maintenance of traditional boat ownership, with everything taken care of. Sailtime Port Stephens, the affordable way to go boating. Meet Nicole.
I was told that I had plantar fasciitis.
Everything changed when she got fitted for Good Feet arch supports.
Within a week or 2, I noticed such a difference.
See if arch supports can help you too at the Good Feet store.
Today and every day, we want you to spend less. Less on Mondays, through to Sundays, Thursdays, and shop day. Spend less on prep day, leftover day, weekdays, May days, and on wash day. At Woolworths, we can help you to spend less. With low prices on our brands, prices dropped, specials and new member prices. Today and every day. That's today's fresh food people.
The 33-year-old who was behind the wheel in a horrific car crash in Sydney has faced court from his hospital bed. It comes as the grandmother of his 2 nephews paid tribute to the young lives lost in the tragedy.
Their grandma says they were fun-loving boys, typical boys. The eldest was very caring. His little brother, very confident. He was going to rule the world. At Monterey, teddy bears and flowers now mark a place of immense pain and anger.
I think any parent would be quite shaken, you know, to learn that news, and yeah, it's horrible what's happened.
Death drivers, as I call them now, not the hoons, they're death drivers. This is the 3rd accident within the week.
The brothers were in the back seat of a Subaru WRX, the alleged driver, their uncle, slamming into a tree on Grand Parade just before 10 on Friday night. The boys, aged just 9 and 10, died in hospital. Their 9-year-old cousin injured. Her dad, who is the boy's uncle, now charged with dangerous driving causing death. The lawyer for the 33-year-old tight-lipped outside court today.
Does he realise the gravity of the situation?
But earlier, telling 9 News, he's fresh out of surgery and still under the influence of medication. I don't know yet if he knows that the 2 little ones have lost their lives. He said his client has spoken with the little boy's mother, who is distraught and distressed. She still supports him and stands by him. The 33-year-old is facing 2 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 1 count of cause bodily harm by misconduct. His case was today adjourned to Sutherland Court next month. His lawyer telling 9 News it's then he will apply for his bail. Police are searching for the driver of this grey sedan. Investigation looking into whether this was the result of a street race. A heartbroken family now picking up the pieces. Hayley Francis, NBN News.
2 Australians have been seriously injured after falling 10 metres from a medieval fortress near Dubrovnik, Croatia. A 26-year-old woman is fighting for life, while a 34-year-old man has undergone emergency surgery and is in a serious condition. Both were heavily intoxicated. The father of NRL star Josh Addo-Carr is making headlines of his own. Joey Addo and his partner have been charged over a neighbourhood dispute, the latest battle in a long-running war.
It's my neighbour's car, like we live in a cul-de-sac, we share the...
Okay, I need you to take a breath and help me with the location.
3 a.m. and in Doonside, neighbourhood drama heats up.
It's a bit coincidental.
Tani Withers finding the fire.
There was a trail of petrol, so somebody has put some petrol-soaked, like rag.
She says the vehicle, or what's left of it, belongs to Joey Addo, the father of Bulldog star Josh Addo-Carr, who today was also taking the hits. Joey and partner Renee Trindle arrested yesterday. She's accused of breaching an AVO, allegedly stalking, assaulting and injuring her neighbour Vince Hoffman. And Addo accused of stalking.
She hit me about 4 or 5 times to the head and dropped on the ground.
They call me names, get inside.
Allegedly the latest battle in a long-winded war, this from Easter 2022.
Joey Addo and Renee Trindle strongly deny attacking their neighbour. They say they've done nothing wrong. Tonight he is on bail, but she is behind bars.
She'll have her bail application heard tomorrow in court.
Addo's lawyer telling 9 News Hoffman's allegations have landed them in court before. Allegations, they say, were thrown out. Addo's lawyer claiming they're the target of racism.
Are you guys racist?
No.
We've got Aboriginal grandchildren.
Police tonight hunting the person who torched Addo's car. The Hoffmans say it wasn't them.
We have a pretty fair idea who did this.
Ruth Wynne Williams, NBN News.
Lost luggage could soon be a thing of the past, with Virgin Australia launching the country's first baggage tracking tool. Available on the airline's app from tomorrow, it will allow flyers to know where their bag is at each step of the journey, from check-in to transferring to other airlines and reaching the final destination. It'll be available on most domestic flights. Now to Lauren Kempe for a quick look at the weather. And Lauren, it's been a warm end to winter. What's in store for spring?
Jane, it's hard to believe it's only a few days away, isn't it? But we've already had a taste of what's to come. For the first time since around 2019, a positive Indian Ocean dipole is developing. And combined with El Nino-like conditions, we can expect plenty of warm, dry days this spring. But that won't stop all rain, with showers and thunderstorm activity likely in our region, as warmer than average seas feed into low pressure east of the Divide later this week. Sunny for most towns tomorrow, but a coastal shower or two is possible north of Coffs Harbour, topping out at 24 degrees in Grafton, 22 in Lismore, a little bit cooler in Armidale, 18 degrees the top there. And Jane, I'll have some more weather a little bit later on.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Lauren. Coming up next, fire danger ratings turn high-tech, the new digital signs set to keep communities safe. Back from the brink of extinction, the secret behind the bilbies' boost in population. And the biggest search ever for the world's most famous monster.
What could your next 17-day holiday look like with TripADeal? Experience Alaska, Yellowstone and the Rockies from $4,999 per person, including flights. This unforgettable bucket list adventure is not to be missed. Cruise Alaska's Inside Passage, visit Canada's most picturesque towns, witness jaw-dropping landscapes, wildlife and more. Plus, earn and use Qantas points on every booking. For bucket list experiences at unbelievable prices, head to tripadeal.com.au.
With Dodo, get $15 off your first 6 months on fast, reliable NBN. Just ask our 100% of satisfied customers. 96% of satisfied customers. It's almost flawless. Dodo, the real deal.
Whatever they get up to or into, your dog knows they're your number one. So when it comes to parasites, they trust you to help keep them safe. NexGard Spectra, Australia's #1 parasite protection for dogs. It's the most complete protection against fleas, ticks, mites, worms and even heartworm. All in one tasty monthly chew. Just one and it's done. NexGard Spectra.
At Woolworths, we can help you spend less today with prices dropped for spring. Like Australian washed white potatoes 2 kilogram pack, now $4 a pack. That's today's fresh food people.
At Harvey Norman, get 36 months interest-free on mobiles and computers. No deposit, no interest with 36 monthly repayments from Latitude Financial Services and receive a bonus gift card up to $400. That's a bonus $50 gift card for every $500 you spend on interest-free. Shop our huge range and get 36 months interest-free on mobiles and computers and receive a bonus gift card up to $400. At Harvey Norman. T's and C's, fees, charges and product exclusions apply. Participating Latitude credit cards only. New customers must be approved. Minimum finance amount $500. Harvey Norman Huge Coffee Expo. Spend $250 or more on a coffee machine and get 10% back in gift cards. Save $150 on the Nespresso Vertuolitissimo with DeLonghi's One-Touch Milk System, plus 10% back in gift cards. For quick coffees, the Breville Barista Express, plus 10% back in gift cards. Create hot and iced coffees with the DeLonghi Aletta Explorer, plus 10% back in gift cards. Brew sweet lattes with One Touch with the Eura J8 with a huge 10% back in gift cards. At Harvey Norman now.
When my dad died, I was left to practically nothing. I was so hurt and confused. So I spoke to Balboshev. They've seen it all before. Balboshev sorted it out. Thanks, Balboshev.
Get it sorted. Call Balboshev Lawyers.
Experience Alaska, Yellowstone and the Rockies from $4,999 per person, including flights. Cruise Alaska's Inside Passage, discover natural wonders and more. For bucket list experiences at unbelievable prices, head to tripadeal.com.au.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. Glory for our red and blue. The Knights cement their spot in the NRL's top 5 after a thrilling home ground win over the Sharks. Members of the Central Coast community have pushed for the Min's government's SharkNet program to be scrapped. It comes just days after a serious attack at Port Macquarie, which left a father of 2 fighting for life. Eye-catching footage has emerged of an overnight grass fire on the Pacific Highway at 4 Miles Creek north of Nabiac. Firefighters worked quickly to contain the blaze. Ballina's Shaw Bay was dotted with dragon boats this weekend as dozens took part in the 10th annual Rainbow Region Regatta. And some of the coolest rigs on the mid-north coast have been put on show at Sherwood Estates Wheels and Wines Festival near Kempe. Summer might still be 3 months away, but the warning signs are already clear that we're in for a tough bushfire season. To help us stay prepared, the traditional fire danger signs on our roadsides are getting a digital facelift to provide up-to-the-minute information.
Iconic danger rating signs going electronic, warning the community of fire risks in real time.
Right here in Homebush, RFS Command can make decisions about where the threats are extreme or elevated.
A $2.5 million investment from the New South Wales government, rolling out at a critical time, as RFS crews across the state prepare for a dry and high-risk bushfire season.
The conditions here at the moment are higher fuel loads than we've had for a long, long time.
The amount of escape fires we've had, 600 escape fires since the beginning of August, so fire crews have been very, very busy.
Bushfire danger periods have already started in parts of the state's northwest. And from September 1, it will come into play for other regions, including the Hunter, Mid-North Coast and Northern Rivers. That's a month early, and landholders will be required to apply for permits. Meanwhile, RFS crews are undertaking hazard reduction burns to lessen the risk.
The RFS is doing everything they can, including hazard reductions. Now, they've been hampered a little bit because of the weather conditions over the past 2 years.
More than 200 electronic signs will be rolled out across the state to replace ones like this, which requires a volunteer to make manual adjustments. And crews are desperate for more volunteers to join their ranks.
A lot of our rural brigades are struggling across the board. The more members we can get on board and get them trained and through basic training, the better we can be prepared.
Georgia Vaughan, NBN News.
He was a fixture of American television, hosting the longest-running game show in the country's history. Bob Barker, the price of is right, has passed away aged 99. A prominent animal activist, Mr. Barker also convinced the Miss USA contest to ban furs during his decades hosting the pageant, before making several cameos on the big screen.
You want a piece of me? I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing. Oh!
Actor and good friend Adam Sandler is leading the tributes, calling him the man, the myth, the best. They're the marsupial immediately recognisable by their long snout and tall pointed ears. And tonight there's good news for the vulnerable greater bilby, with breeding numbers surging right here in New South Wales.
For a bilby, this is as good as it gets on a lazy night in the burrow. A home-delivered smear of peanut butter and a protein ball, designed to snare them for science. And helping act as small mammal Uber delivery driver is the state's Environment Minister.
We went and we trapped some bilbies and we were measuring them and seeing how healthy they were.
4 years ago, 18 bilbies were released into Taronga's 110-hectare bush sanctuary, attached to its Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo. And over 4 nights recently, the zoo's conservation team set out to see how the vulnerable species was progressing.
And we're really pleased to report that the population has absolutely boomed. We identified 81 unique individuals, 55 of which were bilbies that we'd never seen before.
Zoo officials say they estimate the rabbit-eared native mammal now number around 136, a significant increase on the 18 bilbies that were originally introduced, and especially so for a species presumed extinct in the unfenced wild.
So it represents a 650% increase in the total population size, which is amazing.
There were plenty of new ones, which means that they've been breeding happily and they're really doing well in that environment.
Some of this new breed destined to enhance bilby populations in other predator-free parks.
The next step is to find them a new home.
Mike Dalton, NBN News.
It's one of the world's most enduring mysteries. Is there a monster in Loch Ness? Today, a new mission was launched to find out. The largest search in 50 years has begun, with hordes of researchers and Nessie enthusiasts descending on the Scottish lake.
Is she at last about to give up her secret?
Certainly I'm optimistic that we'll come up with some kind of new evidence.
This weekend search has been organised by the local Loch Ness Centre and utilises more than 200 volunteers.
I wanted to take part because I thought it was just a brilliant opportunity and just great to be part of the legend.
Thermal drones will look out for a monster heat signal, while hydrophones listen out for Nessie noises. While the volunteers are positioned around the lake, anyone can join in, with webcams scouring some of the loch's 36 kilometres. The first modern sighting of the creature was 90 years ago. There was a famous photo, later revealed to be a hoax. But hundreds of reported sightings followed over the decades.
Since 1930, the sightings, though irregular, have been strangely persistent.
Long head, and we saw the eye, and the three humps, everything but the tail.
4 years ago, New Zealand scientists tested DNA from the water to see if there was evidence the creature was a dinosaur, Nessie the Plessy.
Is there a plesiosaur in Loch Ness? No.
The scientific spoilsports said it was probably just large eels. Still, not enough to stop the true believers. This photo of, well, something in Loch Ness was taken only 2 weeks ago. Another showing a dark shape in the water was from June this year. Nessie is a myth that refuses to be busted.
In London, Brett McLeod, NBN News.
A wonder kid from Port Macquarie is headed to the State Athletics Championships in Sydney after smashing a 20-year-old school record set by an Olympian. The whole community is now getting behind teenager Kempe Mason, fundraising to help make his dreams a reality.
A teen athlete from Port Macquarie sprinting into the local history books.
Absolutely fantastic, a chance of becoming an Olympian possibly in the future.
Running barefoot, 15-year-old Kempe Mason broke Hastings Secondary College's 100-metre record, set more than 2 decades ago by ex-student and former Olympian Adam Miller.
No, I did not believe it. I'm pretty stoked for it, I guess.
For him to do it barefoot, no blocks, I think he was in footy shorts, just unbelievable. Like, it's a really, really impressive time.
Now, Kempe has his sights set on the State Athletics Championships in Sydney next month. The whole community banding together to get him there.
Trying to get his family to go and see him in States and somewhere to stay and just, get parking and tickets to get into the park. There's quite a lot of money for them and they wouldn't be able to go.
The online fundraiser has already raised more than $2,500. The proud Gungaloo teen has even caught the eye of Olympic sprinter Rowan Browning, who has gifted Kempe new runners and starting block. The Parramatta Eels have also donated a signed jersey that will be raffled once all 100 tickets are sold. Kempe says the support has been overwhelming.
I thought just the school and my family would support me, but the whole Port Mac got my back.
The original record holder turned mentor will also be cheering from the sidelines come competition day, helping the young hopeful navigate his career.
He's naturally gifted. I don't want to change anything. I'm just sort of letting him do his thing, which is running fast. My vision for TAC is it's a long term, like 10 years plus.
Kempe's goal?
Reach top 3, I guess. Make it a national. We just can't wait to see him. The whole school's behind him. I think the whole community loves him. We just, so rapt to know that he's going somewhere.
Marina Trakovic, NBN News.
Kempe Mason, remember that name.
For sure.
It's time for sport now with Adam Murray, and what a season comeback. The Knights keep the dream alive in Newcastle, Adam.
Another full house, another reason to celebrate. The Knights made it 8 straight wins with victory over the Sharks. We'll have a closer look at their dominant performance next. Also ahead, why the Roosters' late bid for a finals berth has been made a whole lot tougher. And Buddy signs off at the SCG, but did the Swans keep the party going?
play for Oz. The next world champ. Don't like our beef.
The delicious fusion of two Aussie favourites, Weespix.
Don't you wish your phone was fun like this?
Don't you wish your phone could fit in here? Don't you?
Kathy said she had a million better things to do than wait around for deliveries. That's why we're updating the AusPost app with 2-hour delivery notifications, so she doesn't have to. You ask, we deliver at Australia Post.
G'day, I'm Russell Coyce. These latte sippers will soon discover that out here is no place for a fancy electric vehicle. You're in for a world of pain. No, battery-powered toys won't last long on this sandpit. Where are they? I'll need a tow in. Jeez! Whoa.
Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid EV. Australia ready.
Well, that's never happened before. Well, once.
Where did they find these?
Great question. You see, at Coles, our experts go to great lengths for quality. Here, there, everywhere.
Wakey, wakey, Gary.
Gary's heading out to sea to catch wild banana prawns.
And I'm back at the farm I've been coming to for years to select great tasting beef. You good?
Yeah. Those tomatoes look amazing.
Yep, ripened on the vine.
It's why we partnered with Laurent from Laurent Bakery.
Bonjour, mes petits chéris.
And it's why we taste test all our Coles own brand products again.
More chocolate.
And again.
Less chocolate.
And again.
Perfect.
Because when you go to great lengths, you get great quality food that tastes and.
Sweet.
Great lengths for quality. That's Coles.
Time to add a little harmony back into your morning routine. Highgrove Bathrooms has a wide range of quality bathroom products to help you create the bathroom of your dreams. Find your bathroom balance at Highgrove Bathrooms.
Once in a lifetime comes an event so inspiring, you have to see it to believe it. Be moved, be inspired. Billy Elliot the Musical comes to Civic Theatre Newcastle. 3 weeks only from October 7. Tickets on sale now.
Be ready to lend at Mate Your Keys. With Allianz Comprehensive Car Insurance, they're covered, the same as you. Get your quote today. Allianz.
The Knights are the hottest team in the NRL. This afternoon's 32-6 win over the Sharks not only sealing their spot in this year's final series, but a home playoff. Kalen Ponga was again the star of the show, but left the field late in the match after a nasty collision.
And 8 in a row. It's 4 in a row for the Knights NRLW side.
Johnston, what a pass! And untouched, Yasmin Clydesdale. It's a worthy celebration. The front rower dishing up try assist like that.
And another double for Shanice Parker.
They might just find a try. Parker, gets there for another double.
Newcastle surviving a late flurry of Sharks tries to win 22-14.
The Seagulls didn't have much to play for in the back end of the season, but captain Daly Cherry Evans did. He wants the Kangaroos' number 7 jersey back for the Pacific Championship.
Oh, look, I definitely came back, extremely motivated that I'd lost my, not my jersey, sorry. I'd lost the Australian halfback jersey. So that's definitely fueled this season, no doubt about it. I'm that sort of player that, if I get dropped, I want to get back in there. So I'm always ambitious to play rep footy.
DCE scored a try and set up another in the 42-24 demolition win over the Bulldogs. The Roosters' finals dream is still alive, but they'll have to get it done without one or maybe two of their biggest names. Jared Waerea-Hargreaves is staring down a season-ending suspension, while Joey Manu has suffered a hamstring injury.
Still smiling and posing for selfies, Jared Waerea-Hargreaves a fan favourite today. But it's almost certainly the last time supporters will see him this season.
He's one of our leaders. He's been a huge part of this club now for a number of years, so we'll miss him if he's not there.
The firebrand slap.
Oh,
The first for a high shot, the second a headbutt.
And now Jared's got a further problem.
Even with an early guilty plea, he'll miss 6 weeks.
He obviously missed the week before against Para. I thought our young middle's done a really good job, so yeah, whatever happens, we'll get through it.
It was good news.
Don't think it's too bad. He was walking around, he said it felt pretty good. It's a big relief. We need him out there. He's one of our best players and a real force in attack.
Manu is expected to be named for the final round showdown against South. Both teams must win to have any chance of featuring in the finals.
We just kind of got to hold our end up, and then hopefully, you know, everything else around us falls into place.
The Raiders could be relying on other results as well after they were beaten by the Broncos. Ricky Stewart's thoughts were clear before full time, but he still took aim at the referees after the siren.
Because people aren't doing their jobs properly. It happens every game on these escorts. I just don't understand why it's between us. Well, I do understand. That's what probably the part I can't talk about.
Sam Jordan, NBN News.
The Swans officially farewelled Lance Franklin at the SCG today. Buddy and his family doing an emotional lap of honour during half-time. Sydney kicked 4 unanswered goals to lead the Demons in the third quarter, but couldn't go on with it, going down by 21 points. They'll finish the season in 7th or 8th and play their elimination final in Melbourne against either Carlton or St Kilda. In Wallabies' words, the Rugby World Cup starts tonight. Australia will take on the hosts in their last hit-out before their first pool match.
We know what to expect in terms of this is going to be World Cup-like atmosphere and the pressure that comes with that. So really sharp session just then, and looking forward to ripping in.
The pre-tournament shocks keep coming. Fiji recording its first ever victory over England, winning 30 points to 22. Coming up, Ange making it look easy in the Premier League, plus the Lawrence brothers create history in the US.
At least I got a great deal on my LDV.
Hurry to get the 7-seat LDV D90 SUV for $36,990 drive away for ABN holders. Visit a dealer today. LDV, bring it on.
Claire!
Whatever you're up to, now's good for a deliciously creamy Nescafe cappuccino.
The Snooze Winter Sale is on now. Save up to 50% off mattresses, up to 40% off bed frames, and 30% off selected bedding and linen. Hurry, the Snooze Winter Sale ends Sunday. What a little snooze can do.
With IGA's Community Give Back Sale, you can make big savings.
While helping your local IGA support local causes right on your doorstep.
Just look out for great specials with an IGA Community Chest ticket.
Like IGA Corn Silverside, only $8 per kilo. And Continental Pasta and Sauce or Rice, 40 to 190 gram selected varieties, $1.75 each, half price.
There's a place where you can save and help give back. Your local IGA.
What if true luxury was about inner fulfillment? First ever hybrid Mazda CX-90, all in perfect balance.
Relieve sensitive teeth with Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum Toothpaste, just $9.99 each at Chemist Warehouse. It's proven to relieve tooth sensitivity and helps maintain healthy gums to keep you smiling. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Jack sold his motorbike in his 20s to buy Mia's engagement ring. Today, it's his turn for a surprise. IMB Bank, right by you since 1880.
To give your garden that professional look, talk to Australian Native Landscapes. The right advice, the best materials, and knowledgeable staff. Australian Native Landscapes, for the gardener in us all, in the Central Coast and Hunter region.
Shut up and take my money.
This Sports Report brought to you by KFC.
Three games into his Premier League career, Australian manager Ange Postecoglou remains unbeaten. Star off-season signing James Maddison scoring his first goal as Tottenham defeated Bournemouth 2-0. Manchester United bounced back from their loss to Spurs last week with a 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest, while Arsenal conceded a late equaliser to draw 2-2 with a 10-man Fulham. The Lawrence brothers have cleaned up in the mud at the AMA Pro Motocross Championships in Indiana. Jet Lawrence completing a clean sweep of all 22 rounds in the 450cc series. Older brother Hunter claiming the 250 series title, despite suffering a poor start in the final round.
Whether it's in this sport or in life in general, you're always going to have someone that pushes you to become better. I think what's unique about this side is we both push each other to be better.
They're the first siblings to win both championships in motocross history. In front of a delighted Dutch crowd, Max Verstappen has locked in pole for his home Grand Prix as he looks for a 9th straight Formula One win. Logan Sargent and Charles Leclerc both crashed out in the final qualifying session. Oscar Piastri will start 8th. Charlestown will play Broadmeadow for a spot in the NPL decider after knocking out Western in today's minor semi-final. Goalless for 30 minutes, Azuri striker Regan Lundy broke the deadlock for the home side, pouncing on a through ball. Western's best chance to equalise came moments after the break. Connor Hayden spraying the shot wide. Charlestown holding on to win 1-0. A double from Talia Gosner in last night's NPLW elimination final clash against Azuri has kept Maitland's season alive. She levelled the scores, then put the Magpies in the lead shortly after the half-time break.
Headed across goal and finished. Beautiful work from Maitland.
Sophie Stableford put the icing on the cake in the 4-2 win. Maitland take on Olympic in the prelim final next week. The celebrations are no doubt continuing in Maitland after the Blacks ended its 24-year Hunter Rugby Premiership drought, defeating the Greens 33 points to 26 yesterday afternoon. Captain Sam Callow admitting the grand final win almost brought him to tears. It was scenes of jubilation as the final siren sounded. Even more so when Maitland finally lifted the premiership trophy. The Blacks holding off the Greens in a nail-biting finish.
I thought it was going to be like the major semi where they got us on the bell again, but no, the boys held out, and as soon as we got that penalty, I never started crying.
The win ending more than 2 decades of heartache.
I only got here about 3 years ago. Like, from what the old boys have been saying, the 2 last grand finals they lost, it's just getting harder and harder. And we just kept falling out of it, and writing ourselves off, really, and we're finally back in it, so yeah, very stoked.
The grand final was a war of attrition, with both sides trading blows. The second half was dominated by the boot, penalty conversions helping the scoreboard tick over. The difference being a try under the posts. The grand final win making Max Stafford's return to the club this season worth the while.
It's hectic, eh? I haven't been here since 2018 and had a couple of years off, and come back to this year. The boys have torn the hemi in that, but come back and the boys have just performed week in, week out, mate, and it's a long time coming, but it's so sweet, mate. It's unreal.
Maitland's Black Diamond Cup campaign has come to a crushing end, smashed by Killarney Vale, 101 points to 38 in the elimination final. Brendan Lewis was best on ground, booting 5 goals.
That's a long go at the sticks. How's that?
Brendan Lewis with a fifer.
Newcastle will take on minor premiers Terrigal Avoca next week for a grand final berth after City defeated Cardiff 54-49 in the qualifying final. Small and inconsistent waves at Merewether has forced organisers to postpone this year's Ray Richards Memorial. Ryan Callanan is the two-time defending champion. Jackson Baker and Morgan Siblick are also set to headline this year's event. Another big day in sport.
So much going on. Thank you, Adam. Rewind's next, followed by your local weather forecast.
Who pulls off the most miraculous home office reveals?
I love it.
Next on 9.
Part of the worldwide Allianz Group, with over 100 years in Australia, we're ready for our changing weather.
Get a bonus Disney 100 Wonders card pack at Woolworths when you buy any participating Dove or Swiss product in a $30 shop.
I am your father.
Just another way to get your Woolies worth.
Panadol Rapid works on pain relief 10 minutes faster than regular Panadol tablets. So you can always be the chief taste tester. Panadol Rapid. Care starts here.
What's your pitch?
Forget the pitch. You've got an itch.
That itch could be dandruff. Silence it. Head & Shoulders removes up to 100% dandruff and itch. Head & Shoulders.
Australia, eat like a superhero and feel like one too with the Coles Fresh Food Challenge. Try 35 different fruit and veg and tick them off your free Fresh Food Challenge poster now in store. Are you up for the challenge? Only at Coles.
Sleep in, did ya? Man, you two are hard work.
Thanks. Come on, kids. Hey, your hat. Water bottle.
Never ends.
Have a good sleep, Mum.
Love you.
With an average return of 8.89% per annum for the past 39 years, it's good to know your money is working as hard as you.
Good job.
Seabus Super, making hard work pay off.
Hurt can happen here, here, and here. If you've been injured in a public place, take the Slater & Gordon free claim check, and we'll take it from here.
Planning a funeral can be complicated and expensive, but it doesn't have to be. With 3 affordable packages, we make funeral planning the way it should be. Affordable, simple.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We love it. Do you want to come inside?
Would love to.
At Perry Homes, we've been making families feel right at home for over 30 incredible years. We don't just build houses, we create dream homes that become the heart of your family story. Build now with our fixed price contract and we guarantee your dream home will be built in just 26 weeks. Why settle for anything less? Join the Perry Homes family and let us build a home where your family story unfolds.
NBN News Rewind, proudly brought to you by Port Waratah Coal Services. Local heart, global reach. It's who we are.
Now to our weekly Rewind series as we again dive into our NBN News archives. Tonight, aircraft action in our early years of broadcast.
In the early 70s, NBN News travelled to the Boeing factory in Seattle. Qantas was taking delivery of this 747 named the City of Newcastle. Dignitaries christened the Jumbo prior to its maiden flight to Australia. Closer to home, crowds gathered at Pelican Airstrip. This World War II Supermarine Seagull had just landed after taking part in the England to Australia air race.
Did you have any worries of landing in the water at all?
Oh no, actually I prefer landing on the water than I would on land.
59 planes were in the race. Participants received a civic reception at City Hall. And at Rutherford, this air show took place to celebrate 40 years of the Tiger Moth.
A fitting tribute to a special plane.
Historic aircraft entertained the crowd, including this classic P-51 Mustang. The daring aerobatics, a highlight for the aircraft enthusiasts in attendance that day in 1971.
Taking a look at the weather, we were treated to some fantastic conditions during the last weekend of winter. Mostly sunny and reaching right up into the low 20s throughout northern New South Wales. It's been abnormally warm and dry the whole season, and we can expect that to intensify heading into spring. Another great weather shot by Kate Hudson tonight. Mist over calm waters at Lake Macquarie pictured this morning before clearing up for another gorgeous blue sky day. On the satellite, a series of low pressure troughs are fueling this sweeping cloud mass here in the southwest, producing showers there. But moisture is being hampered by high pressure further east. And across the nation as a whole, it's been a very dry 24 hours. And that's evident in the lack of colour we can see here. For the first time in about 4 years, the majority of our capital cities are registering rainfall totals significantly below their August average. And we're unlikely to see that change over the next few days. Onshore winds feeding into a series of deepening troughs could produce the odd isolated shower here in eastern sections of the country, but high pressure is keeping things largely dry and settled. Low pressure troughs and a weak cold front will clip the southwest corner, and we've certainly seen a lack of these strong cold fronts over the southeast parts of Australia in the last few months, but this low could lead to a little bit of storm activity in our patch later in the week. Mostly sunny in the northern half of the country tomorrow, a little bit cloud affected along the east coast, but no heavy rain. A top of 24 in Brisbane, 21 in Sydney, and remaining very mild further south, with Hobart and Melbourne on track to officially register their warmest winter in years. Plenty of sunshine throughout the Hunter today though, a top of 18 degrees at Nobby's Head, 20 at Williamtown, 22 from Cessnock out to Singleton, and 23 in Scone. Remaining dry for most places tomorrow, but we could be in for a shower or even the odd storm later in the week. Predominantly easterly winds up to around 25 kilometres an hour, and almost identical daytime temperatures, topping out at 17 at the entrance, 22 in Newcastle, 20 at Nelson Bay, and partly cloudy skies too out to the valley and in the upper Hunter, reaching up to 23 in Maitland, 22 the top there at Tocal, sunny in Singleton, 23 the top, and partly cloudy in Scone with a similar top. Seas and swell both sitting relatively low along the coast at around 1 to 1.5 metres, and nor'easterly winds below 15 knots. The high tide will come in just before 6 in the morning, the low arriving around 11:15 before a 1.8 metre high tide here returns around 6 p.m. Sun to rise at 6:15 and setting around 5:30. Remaining dry in Newcastle through to around late Wednesday evening, but we can expect a little bit of rain after that, anywhere up to around 5 millimetres on Thursday, 3 millimetres on Friday. Instability from a low pressure system could also stir up a little bit of storm activity then as well. Low 20s the top in Scone this week, slightly lower rain totals than Newcastle later in the week, with a chance of a thunderstorm there on Wednesday evening. And a mostly sunny Monday and Tuesday here for Gosford. We can expect humidity to build there from Wednesday and through to Thursday, but showers should clear in time for next weekend. And there were some nice little sets rolling into Newcastle's beaches today. A little bit wind affected out there and nothing too huge for surfers to jump on, and that will be the theme for the days to come. So Jane, a few thunderstorms to finish winter, potentially.
Okay, spring arriving with bang. Thank you, Lauren. And that is NBN News for this Sunday. From all the team here, good night.
Australia, safe